we're giving away this 1200 horsepower turbo Trans Am. Go to lsnasty.com. Every dollar you spend is an entry to win.
All right, y'all, we are talking about doing burnouts today, which I think everyone is excited about. Got to talk about new brand, new shirt we got going on. We got the new Nasty Co stuff out right now, and I think it's pretty badass. We got 2 shirts up there right now, this being one of them. This is my favorite shirt. I actually designed this one, so I'm actually hyped about it, and it matches my damn shoe. So that's pretty sick. Go over at lsnasty.com. You guys can get entered to win our 1200 horsepower Trans Am that we're giving away. We also have a new, like, surprising top seller, which I didn't think this would be it. Just Send It Nasty Co shirt. So Nasty Co is another brand that we made that's really not super automotive related. Going to be a little bit lifestyle, a little bit motivational, just something different. If you guys don't like cars all that much, but you want a shirt that looks pretty good that you could wear out, that you don't want to let everybody know you're like, hey, cars for life or whatever, you guys can get the Nasty Co stuff. So we got some hats, some shirts, and some stickers coming out for that. All right, let's get into today's video. We're going to talk about doing burnouts, which everyone knows, or if you don't know, I'll tell you guys now. I like to do a rolling burnout, and what that is, it means I don't stop to start my burnout. I roll through the water box at like maybe 3 or 4 miles an hour, and I start my burnout without coming to a complete stop. I like doing that. I've been doing it like that for a few years now, and we have some data on it that shows that it is more consistent to gain tire temp. You can accurately get almost identical tire temp every single time, opposed to doing a stationary burnout. When you stop, if you sit there a little bit longer, it's going to get hotter. The goal for the burnout is to clean the tires and get them up to temp. The data that we've seen from doing a rolling burnout using a tire temp gauge that's in the car, so we're literally, it shows up on the data log, we can track it, we have all this data through all these passes, it is way, way, way more consistent. And when you're racing, obviously you want to be consistent, so if anything changes, you know what variable it is. If you have like 40 different things changing, your burnout's a different temp, your launch is a different temp, you don't know what made it not work. So we're going to talk about the rolling burnout a little bit. I think it's easier to do than a stationary burnout. I'm not telling everybody to go out there and do it, because don't be copying my style, but if you guys want to try it, just go and try it. Go out there at Thursday night test and tune. If it takes you 2 times to get the hang of it, so be it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up some videos from Georgia. I have some good examples because I did it in 2 different cars, and yeah, let's get into it. One thing I do want to add is everything in this video is going to be a 2-speed 400 or a power glide. So if you're doing this stuff in a normal 400, like the Crispy Chicken, which is our giveaway vehicle, you're gonna start your burnout in 2nd gear if it's a standard 3-speed 400. If not, when you like free spin that 1 to 2 shift, you could roll the sprag. So all this stuff that you guys are gonna see here, when I say we're talking in 1st gear, if you have a standard, you know, style 3-speed 400, that would be starting your burnout in 2nd. So hopefully that just clears the air. I don't want to see anyone go out there and tear their shit up. I want to keep everything in one piece. And all right, let's start talking about burnouts. All right, guys, first step in doing the rolling burnout is, let's see, get strapped into the race car, make sure all your tire pressure and all that good stuff's set, roll up there, and you got to get lined up with the water box. So I usually have Mason, Logan, Matt, someone out there to make sure you're straight. And you got to keep your eye on them, because they'll pull you through the water box, and they will let you know when you're out the water. You can't start the burnout in the water, because then it'll sling water up on the fenders. So you'll see here, I pull up, I stop short of the water box and make sure I'm lined up before I go to pull through it. All right, you guys will see, got the go ahead, start pulling through the water. I keep my hand right there by the shifter, car in low gear. Like I said, it is a 2-speed 400, so this would be like second gear and standard 400. Power glide would be first gear. So we're going to bump it up when we go to shift, and I'm just keeping my eyes looking forward, waiting for them to give me a thumbs up, which means I'm out of the water. At that point, I can lay into the gas. So the whole time you're doing this, you're dragging the brake. So you have to be dragging the brake. That's how you're controlling your speed. A lot of my cars, they idle like 12 to 1400 RPM. So if you just let them go in first gear, they'll go like 20, 30 mile an hour. So you have some brake pressure on there. And that's what also holds the car back when you lay into it to start to do your burnout. So you guys will see here shortly. I got my hand on the shifter. I'm ready to go. I'm going to start to roll into the throttle while my foot's still on the brake. So you're not applying enough brake pressure to stop it. You're just dragging them so the car is not increasing in speed. Once the tires break traction in the back, you can let off the brake and then bump it into high gear. So it happens pretty quick. All right, so you guys will notice in really all the videos with these burnouts, from the outside, it'll just sound like you're doing it in high gear the whole time. The reason I start it in low gear is it's just a little bit less load to break the traction. And then you just kind of regulate the throttle. Like the Black Sheep, we shifted at like 8,000, 82, 8,400, really depending on what we're doing. So I do the burnout kind of just where it seems happy, like 6,000 RPMs. That thing's singing pretty good. It sounds a lot higher out of the car, but in the car it's 6,000. It kind of falls off at the end, and then I whack the throttle one time right before the end of the burnout. And you know, some people are like, "Man, you're spinning it too hard in the burnout." Well, the burnout's making like 150 horsepower, no load. It really doesn't matter when you're going down track at 50 pounds of boost to 8,000 RPMs. The motor doesn't even know that you just did a burnout. It doesn't care. So you guys can give it hell. Like, I rev the shit out of them. If they're going to break, they're going to break. Some people are like, man, you revving them's really beating up on the motor. Not at all. Compared to what it sees going down track, that's not even like 0.1% of the wear and tear of the load on it. So my recommendation to everyone is just go out there and just give it hell, rev the shit out of it, go and have fun, make some noise. It really doesn't matter. You'll notice in all of these burnouts, the smoke is not like super intense, like if you were to do a stationary burnout. I did some burnouts for some of like the promo stuff for the crispy chicken, where I was just kind of sitting there, and you could see, I mean, that thing is, you're not really judging off of horsepower, but in no time, being stationary, just huge, super smoky, cloudy burnout. Way too hot tire temp, where all these rolling burnouts, the smoke is way more controlled and the tire temp is way more consistent. So that's something that I like. Also, one thing that it really does help with is the car doesn't really shift or get sideways a whole lot. You'll see a lot of guys when they stop, they'll have someone go over and hold the fender of the car. If you keep going, keep that momentum going, don't stop, it's way harder for the car to get, you know, all wonky and sideways in the burnout, where it just kind of stays straight. To me, it's a whole lot easier driving multiple different cars. Some cars struggle to spool. Some cars, it's tough just to get that initial like break of traction. When you do the rolling ones, they all seem to do it quite well. I do them in the Bad Apple, the Red Lobster, the Black Sheep, you know, my street cars, Hank. It's all the same, and there's no like additional thought. You're not like, oh, well, you know, I'm driving this different car. It doesn't like do a burnout. I got to sit there. I got to leave out the trans brake. I need someone to hold it. It's just the same thing every time. So it's kind of something that I've been doing and I'll continue to do. And to me, it makes, you know, honestly, driving these turbo cars, the hardest part is doing the burnout and staging. So for me, this makes doing the burnout easy. I don't really ever have any aborted burnouts for anything going on. It's just kind of go out there, drag the brake, lay into the throttle, and let her rip. So I got a couple more in-car clips. You can't really see much in the in-car because you can't see the pedals. But you see, as soon as the tire breaks traction, you pop it into high gear. That gets the wheel speed up, and it seems to work pretty well. So we'll show some with the Red Lobster. maybe another one with the black sheep. And this is something where you guys at home, like, go out there and try it. Don't go and try to do it out in your driveway with no water. You need to have the water. These tracks are very smooth. It's not coarse, so doing the burnout, getting the tires to break free, I think that kind of helps it. But if you're out there on your damn cobblestone driveway, it's probably not going to end well, and you're going to be like, man, I can't do these burnouts. So save it for the track.